I'm not sure how, it works.
Like resin on there.
Hmm?
It looks like resin on there.
Yeah, they're all put you know,
non-slip resin.
Yeah.
Looks like the
And they clean it all
Yeah.
every day, you know, really regularly.
I expected to one, because it might bring to one side.
In fact, one of the trucks was exciting. Now one of the trucks wasn't working, the middle one, and it's
haven't
quite
got much of a view from here.
an important
That's
truck.
right, the
that
rest
comes
of
in
all
on
is a
scene,
bit
basically.
off when they
For
sit
the whole
up
first
there.
half of the show, they had to stop the show for about 20 minutes, half an hour, and then for the whole first half, they couldn't use any
Sit in a dress
sets.
circle.
Everything was done without seeing. We're going to go backstage now. It is very easy to get lost backstage. Just to instill you a sense of confidence, I have lost people on the tour before. Behind the stage now. This area is called the Scene Doctor Run, and basically you have to get from one side of the stage to the other. For some reason you can't cross on the stage, you need another route, and this is it. It's called the Scene Doctor Run, or the Run rather, because that's what people usually end up doing to get from one side of the stage to the other. And they were converted to electric in the 1930s. Now they're separated by these four enormous brass columns in the middle here. These are our two hydraulic lifts. Basically each pair of columns is one lift, and they can be lifted together like that, up and down as you'd imagine, but they can also be tilted independently as well. Now they don't work with gas or electric or anything like that, they work for us courtesy of the River Thames. They're water driven, and they work using all these gears and gauges and levers here. Now, as I said, I'm not technically minded, but basically each column has a lever and a steering wheel, or valve, or whatever you call it. These get opened up, the pressure builds up from the water, and these lifts can be raised up to about 13 feet above the stage and brought down 9 feet as well. Now, they came to us in 1894, but they were in perfect working order 30 years prior to that at the Vienna State Opera House. So they came to us from Vienna. They're unique to this theatre. You won't see equipment like this in any other theatre in this country. And thanks to it, we staged some of the most spectacular effects ever witnessed in British theatre. For example, we've created an earthquake on stage in 1911 in The Hope. You can imagine that because these can tilt independently, how effective that could have been. In 1909, we staged The Whip and crashed a full-size steam engine on stage. We've simulated the flight of a hot air balloon across the stage. In 1935, in Ivor Novello's Glamorous Night, we sank an ocean liner for 243 performances. And 4 years prior to that, in Noel Coward's Cavalcade, we sank a rather famous ocean liner, very topical at the moment, 405 times. We sank the Titanic and raised it up again 405 times, which not a lot of people can say. Again, with a tilting mechanism, you can imagine, because one end would go up, one end would go down, and the sinking of that ship, of that ocean liner, must have been absolutely fantastic. Within these walls, apparently, somewhere, they contained bricks from every single theatre that was ever built on this site, so it's got quite a bit of atmosphere down here, as well as quite a bit of dust. Now, I call this the Tunnel of Love, because back in 1662, when King Charles had the first theatre built, he had tunnels built under the theatre. Now, one of the tunnels ran right under the theatre down to the Thames, down to the embankment, so King Charles could just come up from the Thames into the theatre completely unseen by the public. Now, the second tunnel he had built ran under the theatre and across to a building which now stands at the front of the theatre, called course, in those days it would have been behind. Nowadays it's a pub called the Royal Drury. In those days it was called the Lamb, and it was where Nell Gwyn lived. Now, it's very convenient. Apparently this is what would happen. King Charles will come up from the Thames through the tunnel into the theatre for his evening's entertainment. He'd take his seat in the royal box, the lights would go down, the curtain would go up, and he'd nip off out the back through the tunnel and over to Nell's house, where no doubt she'd be waiting with a nice cup of tea and a packet of digestive biscuits. Coming up here, though, you'll see on your left-hand side there's a monitor.